And the more surprising when I heard the Director of National Intelligence, a gentleman by the name of Lieutenant General James Clapper, who has lately been in the news in connection with doctoring some documents in connection with Benghazi. Well, Jim Clapper, in February of 2011, told the House Intelligence Committee, and by the way, he wasn't just ad-libbing, he was reading from a prepared text. Jim Clapper told the Intelligence Committee of the United States House of Representatives that the Muslim Brotherhood was, quote, a largely secular group that had eschewed violence and repudiated Al-Qaeda and had no overarching goals, at least international. Wrong, 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 wrong on all four of those rather important points. In fact, this is a profoundly Islamist group. Take my word for it. Look at what's playing out in Egypt today. This is a group that has made express its objective, which is to impose this doctrine of Shariah worldwide. Not just on Muslims, not just in the Muslim world, but worldwide. This is a group that has not eschewed violence. Rather, it has taken a very practical approach to violence. It's obviously the preferred way to engage in jihad. Muhammad's perfect example, the perfect Muslim, perfect example, was to use violence. It's just that, as with Muhammad, you don't want to do it if it's likely to be counterproductive. For example, if the other side is stronger than you are, and you might be crushed if you use violence. Rather, you use, under those circumstances, civilization jihadist techniques to create conditions in which it will be possible to use violence decisively. And that is exactly what the Muslim Brotherhood is about. Again, not just in the Middle East, not just Egypt, not just Libya, not just Tunisia, not just Syria, soon Jordan, perhaps soon Saudi Arabia, but here as well. And my point in laying this rather lengthy predicate is that if we are not alive to this part of the civilization jihad, the extremism, the terrorism, whatever you want to call it, we are going to miss the true character of the threat. And more to the point, we are going to be unable to defeat it at a point where it is relatively easy to do. Which brings me to, among other things, the immigration issue. We are materially contributing to this problem of civilization jihad in the United States in a number of ways. For example, we continue, even now, to issue something, and Mark, correct me if I get the mechanics of this wrong, R1 visas, which are handed out rather liberally to imams, including those trained at Al-Azhar University, the center of the Sharia enterprise, the institution most esteemed in the entire Muslim world when it comes to its characterization of the true faith. It is from Al-Azhar that we have seen any number of jihadist clerics emerge, and indeed some of them are now practicing their part of the jihad in mosques in the United States. Indeed, we did a recent study with one of our colleagues, just a random survey. scientifically done, rigorously, statistically, empirically done, of 100 mosques around the United States, looking for, as I say, empirical evidence that they were, in fact, Sharia adherent mosques. By which I mean people who are actually with the program that says, God wants you to conquer everybody else. And oh, by the way, in the process, it's unspeakably awful for a lot of people, women, homosexuals, Jews, apostates, other minorities. But this idea that it doesn't matter that we have now migrated into this country, according to this study, in at least 80% of those mosques, Sharia adherent imams, many of them trained, if not at Al-Azhar, in Saudi Arabia, is madness. It matters. And then there's the R2 visas, whereby we bring in their family members, which is a whole other opportunity for proselytizing, recruitment, indoctrination, and so on. How about the visas that we now hand out rather liberally to Saudi students? I saw an estimate recently, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, 25,000 Saudi students are coming here this year. This year. And I understand that 75% of those were people who were given a visa to come here within a week of applying for it. Okay? I mean, math is not my strong suit, but that's what? 20,000 or so people? 20,000 people. What do you think the chances are that we did any significant vetting on those 20,000 people before we gave them access to the United States of America? Probably zero. How about the lottery? You're familiar with this, right? The visa lottery. You can get into this country on a random basis, provided you're coming from a place that isn't overwhelmingly represented in this country. Oh, where could that be? Europe. Turns out it isn't Europe. Oh, Europe is excessively represented in this country. What we're looking for is diversity. This was one of Teddy Kennedy's legacies, by the way. We're looking for diversity to get people to come here who aren't like us. It will surprise you, I'm sure, to discover that a disproportionate percentage of the people who aren't like us, who are coming here on the basis of this random lottery, some 55,000 of them per annum, are coming from countries that are Muslim or are at least partly Muslim.